Hello, I'm David Edwards. I'm an anaesthetic CT1 in the Derbyshire hub of the East Midlands School of Anaesthesia. Today I'm going to be talking about the personal activities and document management on the lifelong learning platform. So we'll be discussing what personal activities are, what to include in them and how to submit them, and then just briefly touching on how to manage your documents on the LLP. So we will just switch over to the lifelong learning platform. And we come in here to the dashboard. Personal activities are forms on the LLP which allow you to evidence learning events that are not part of a formal supervised learning event, which will be covered in a separate video, session 4. And they're a vital way to provide evidence for various curriculum items. In this demonstration, I'll just log a session of e-learning as an example, but the principles will apply to any personal activity you're using. So we access them through the LLP dashboard under the new entry section. So we'll just click onto personal activity. And then we can enter a title that describes the activity we're logging. This is what we immediately visible on your portfolio, so make sure it makes sense to you and anyone else reviewing your portfolio at a later point. So we're just going to put e-learning on principles of ventilation. Now we can then select the activity type, and there are lots of suggested activity types on here, some of which are more aimed at consultants and senior grades, so they may not all seem relevant to you, but ones that will be relevant to trainees will be things like ARCP documents, consultant feedback, e-learning educational courses, amongst others. But just have a look through to see what activity you can log. So for this one, we'll just select e-learning, and then select the date that we've performed that activity on. So I'll just select today. And if the activity is something that goes over a number of days, for example, a medical conference, you can include an end date if that's relevant, but it is optional. So then under details is where you're going to write the bulk of the activity. So for example, something like e-learning, you might just want to include the key learning points from that e-learning package, or you may want to describe in more detail the activity. So what conference sessions did you attend, any presentations you made, and just make sure to anyone looking at the activity in the future, they can see what you've done essentially. Then an optional section is the milestones, so that's just relevant to things like the IAC and IACOA, where there are very specific milestones that you need to achieve. For example, if we click onto it, we'll just put a little entry into details to allow us to do that. And you'll often find on the LLP, if you haven't written something in a selection, it'll just flag it up and you can then come back to it. So hopefully we can now look at the milestones. So here we go. So for the IAC, novice anaesthesia skills and drills is one, so perhaps we'll link it to that. And then you can see it's been linked to a milestone, but obviously only do that if it's relevant. And then key capabilities. Now it says it's optional, but this is going to be the most useful section in terms of actually providing evidence on your portfolio for the curriculum. So if we click on it, it will take us to the curriculum summary. And from here, you can select the stage of training that's relevant to you. So for myself, that's going to be stage 1. And then down here, we have the domains of learning. When you click into them, it will then provide the more detail on the domain. So I'm going to select general anaesthesia here. Then gives us all of the key capabilities and their description, learning outcomes, and then the key capabilities we're actually going to select what we want to link. For this one, we'll just select key capabilities A to D, so safely managing induction and maintenance of anaesthesia. I think that's going to be relevant to our e-learning. We'll click link, and then that one's been linked. We can then choose to link further key capabilities. You can move them if you've mistakenly selected them. And from here, we can then scroll back up to the top and we can return to curriculum if we want to select other domains of learning, or we can just return to the assessment, which is what we're going to do now. So once we've linked the key capabilities, and a point to note on key capabilities is there's no limit to how many you can link. In terms of covering the curriculum efficiently, I'd normally try and link at least 3 key capabilities to each piece of evidence, but you won't always be able to do that. We can then add any supporting documents, so that might be things like conference certificates, ALS certificates, that sort of thing. So if we click into add supporting document, we can then choose our file from our computer. So I'm going to click onto that. And then I've got here just a blank document, but e-learning principles of ventilation certificate as an example. I'm going to click upload. We can, if you wish, add a short description. On the actual activity at the end, it will be the file name that's given as the title of the file, so make sure that makes sense to you and is appropriate to anyone else looking at the portfolio. If you wish, you can add the short description, or we'll just click add to activity. And if we scroll down, we can see that document's been uploaded to this personal activity. And then finally, you have an option of whether this activity is visible on the ESSR, which you'll need to produce for ARCP. Automatically it's clicked as yes, this activity is visible, but if you don't want it to be visible, you can select the option here. And then to close it down, you can just simply save and return to the dashboard, clicking here. If you select save activity and add reflection, it will take you to a separate reflection form, but they are linked, which you'll see from the dashboard. Important point to note, if you delete the activity in the future, it will also delete the linked reflection. So you may wish to add a separate reflection if that's the case. And then if we did want to just get rid of everything we've done there, we can just select delete activity, but we're going to save it and return through to the dashboard. If we scroll down, then we can now see under recent activity, so our e-learning here, you can see what type of form it is, so personal activity for this. It's been saved because it's not something we've submitted to an assessor, and that's why that says not specified, and the date that we've done that on. So that's personal activities, and now we'll quickly cover how to manage documents on the LLP. So we can find document management under the development tab of the dashboard and document store. We click through that, and then you'll be able to see any documents that you've uploaded to your LLP here. So it'll give you the title, which is the file name, size of the file, the location, so because we've added that certificate to activity, we'll show there. This will give you a link back to the personal activity that's uploaded to if you wish to access it. If you include a description, that'll be visible here, and then the date that it was uploaded. The best way to upload files to the LLP is, as we've demonstrated there, by attaching it to a personal activity or an SLE, which will be covered in a separate video. Because that way the document and the activity will be visible on your ESSR. However, you can also directly upload documents to the document store using upload new document here, but it's important to note that that then won't be visible on your ESSR. And it's exactly the same as previous. So we'll click on upload new document, and then we can just select the file we want to upload and upload it. But we'll cancel and return, and then we'll just head back to the dashboard. So hopefully that's briefly covered personal activities and how to manage your documents on the LLP. And that's the end of the talk. Thank you very much for listening. So if you can leave some feedback on this session, it'd be really appreciated, and you can access it through this QR code here. Thank you.